Hi, my name is Sarah Pohl Chadwick. I came to Green Acres in 2008 as a lower school home corner teacher, and I'm excited that next year I get to work with students and teachers as the reading specialist and as the lower school assistant. I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher from my very first day of first grade. I had a really difficult time learning how to read and found school challenging in general, and I actually did not speak English at the time but went to an English speaking school. But despite that, I absolutely loved school. I loved my teachers, and I knew I wanted to stay in the school environment. And so when I graduated, I decided to get my bachelor's in elementary education and child development at Vanderbilt University. And I actually came back to teach at the school that I went to in Germany and got to have a lot of my former teachers as colleagues, which was a great experience. And I had been hoping to teach about maybe third or fourth grade, but I ended up teaching first grade, and I did not really feel prepared to teach children how to read, especially children who were coming to the classroom with no school experience, and some of them did not have many English skills. So I was always struggling with, how do I support my young students in learning how to read, and how can I tell the difference between a child that maybe just needs a little bit more time because they're developmentally not ready for reading yet, or because they are trying to read in a language that they don't speak, and when it's really important to provide a child with really systematic instruction because maybe there's an underlying reading issue or a reading disability similar to the way that I had a reading disability as a child. And so I decided to apply for the reading specialist licensure program, and I ended up going to the Harvard Graduate School of Education and getting a master's in language and literacy with the reading specialist licensure. And what that means is that I spent the year in practicums working in Boston public schools with kids or children in grades kindergarten all the way up to some 12th graders. And I worked with students individually who had diagnosed reading disabilities. I helped teachers to assess students, and I did a lot of work in classrooms with students and with teachers. And I completed all pieces of the licensure program, with the exception of teaching in a public school afterwards. And then I had the opportunity to stay in the United States to choose a school to teach in. And I looked all over the country. I interviewed in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I interviewed in California, in Tennessee, up in Boston. But I still remember walking onto the Green Acres campus and getting a tour at the time from the lower school head. And I just fell in love with the school and its progressive philosophy, and the fact that this was one of the few schools that I actually visited where I felt that the school actually walked the walk. So I knew as a teacher here, I would be able to teach the way that I learned students learn best, and I would be able to really inspire my students and meet them where they are. And so that was really, really exciting to me. Since arriving here, I have worked a lot with the teachers on my team, and I've done some professional development around reading instruction. For example, I did some professional development together with Tracy about guided reading and brought a level reading library to the school for that purpose. I also worked with students and teachers and did some professional development on different developmental reading assessments and developmental spelling assessments. I mentored the current second grade and PU teachers when they joined our team. And this year I've also had a chance to do some student assessments individually with students in kindergarten and first and second grade. And so I'm excited to sort of put an official title and have more chances to work with students and teachers next year. I'm going to be working closely with Tracy, the lower school head, and Chaley, the learning support specialist, to support teachers in the implementation of a full and complete reading program. And so that will include components such as guided reading, shared reading opportunities, literature discussions, And will also place more of a focus on developing phonemic awareness in students that still need that through systematic instruction of phonemic awareness skills. I also will have the opportunity to work with some students directly, either to support students or to extend some of the literacy work that they are doing. And I will be supporting teachers in assessing students, which will inform their instruction. So knowing what guided reading groups to place them in, for example, and what particular reading skills to target and where students might be ready for some extensions. I will also be supporting teachers, of course, in other aspects of reading, such as fluency and comprehension. I'm really excited that I get to work with Tracy, Chaley, and the teachers to shape the specifics of this role and to use my expertise in this way, but I'm also just really looking forward to working closely with teachers and students again and sharing my passion for reading and literature instruction. And I'm also really excited to be in the position to support students who might be struggling in reading the way that I did, actually until I was in middle school, but also to be able to extend and enrich students that are ready for more of a challenge in reading.